ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال الله تبارك وتعالى أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين صدق الله العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد كلما ذكره الذاكرون وصل على سيدنا مولانا محمد كلما غفل عن ذكره الغافلون اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد أفضل صلواتك. My respected brothers and sisters and honorable elders, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I was preparing to talk about some important aspects of fasting. As this is the month of fasting, the month of Ramadan. But just a short while ago, I received the alert on my phone that the Supreme Court has legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. It would be unfair, unjust, and wrong to silently let this moment go by in the history. When I learned about it just a short while ago, I said to myself that this is not a day of progress, this is a day of shame for all of us, for America. Legalizing something as deplorable as homosexuality is not something to be proud of. It is something to be ashamed of. And I will not mince my words. This goes against the long-standing principle of humanity. From the beginning of humanity until now, there has never been a time where a country as large as America, a country as advanced as America, a country as well educated as America has done something like this on this massive scale. For the past few years, there has been this trend where the states have been legalizing same-sex marriage. The leader of all of that is our neighbor, Massachusetts, the first state in America to legalize same-sex marriage. And then many states followed that. And just a few years ago, our own state, Rhode Island, legalized the same-sex marriage as well. If you look at the demographics and the population of homosexuals in America, it is less than 5%. But they have gained such a powerful voice through media, through their representation in the state legislatures and in the Congress and in the White House, that they have changed the opinion altogether in just a matter of few years. In all of this tragic news, there's also a glimpse of hope and a small beam of light when we go into the details. If you were following the news, you know that this ruling was approved by a vote of 5-4. There are 9 justices in the Supreme Court of the United States. And everything is done by voting. Everything is done by voting in the Supreme Court. Everything is done by voting in the Congress. So, wherever the more votes fall, that's what gets done. It doesn't matter where the merit is. It doesn't matter where the argument is. It doesn't matter where the logic is. The more votes you can muster, the more favorability you will have, and the more work you will get done on that side. So when you look at the voting results, out of 9 justices, 5 voted in favor of legalizing same-sex marriage nationwide, and 4 did not. It's a matter of 1 vote. It was 1 vote, the swing vote, that changed the balance altogether. If that 1 vote had gone on this side of the scale, it would have been a no vote. And that 1 vote went on the other side and it made a yes vote. So the optimistic thing at the end of this is that if tomorrow the balance in the Supreme Court justices changes, a new president comes, and one or more of the judges retire, and he appoints a few of those judges, and believe me, majority of America still doesn't believe, when it comes to the general public, the majority of America still has the same mindset of not legalizing the same-sex marriage. The Catholic Church is adamant in its opposition to the same-sex marriage. Our own, the Diocese of Rhode Island, has vehemently opposed the legalization of same-sex marriage. And that is the case with the majority of Americans. So if the balance shifts and some of those judges come who still don't favor the legalization of same-sex marriage, it can change again. And the fact of the matter is that Supreme Court has been wrong in the past, and it is wrong today as well. I will never say that Supreme Court did the right thing. It has done the wrong thing. And it has done the wrong things in the past. Supreme Court is not above and beyond criticism. No judgment is above and beyond criticism. The only thing that is above and beyond criticism is Allah's words. Allah's words alone are above and beyond criticism. And only Allah's words cannot be changed. Everything else can change. Until yesterday, we did not have this dilemma at our hand. And today we do. What should be our reaction to such a decision passed by the Supreme Court? We should understand that the final word is the word of Allah. And nothing can override the word of Allah for us as Muslims. So if the world comes together to say something that contradicts the word of Allah, as Muslims, we should stand strong and we should say, no, you are wrong and Allah is right. And believe me, at the end of the day, the pieces of the puzzle fall into their place, and it comes to where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had said. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't approve something, for us that is the verdict. So despite this legalization of same-sex marriage, this ruling that people are calling historic, it is historic in the sense that it's never been done before. Not historic in the sense that it's something great. So for us as Muslims, things will not change. We will continue to regard homosexuality as a sin, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us through Quran and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam through his teachings. And that doesn't make us think lower of those who are involved in homosexuality. The sin is always looked down upon. The sinner is not. The sinner would only be criticized when he is openly and actively involved in that sin. If someone is drinking in front of you, yes, you should say to him, you should not do that. This is not right. If someone is hurting someone in front of you, you should speak up. You should say, no, this is not right. Even if you can't do anything to save that person because you're too weak, or the consequences will be unbearable for you. But you have to say something. And that's what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith. So when something wrong is being done, you have to have the courage to at least speak about it. And if you can't even speak about it, at least abhor it from your heart. Abhor it in your heart. And this is what we are doing today. We're speaking about something that we do not approve, that we do not favor. And we are recording our protest in the book of Allah. Allah is our witness. We're doing this to testify before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, oh Allah, when this happened, we openly said, we do not favor this. And we do not approve this. Because this goes against your law. This goes against your verdict. The law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The verdict of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as Muslims, we should keep our mind clear in our religion, that our religion does not allow homosexuality and does not approve homosexuality. The cases that were brought before the Supreme Court that compelled Supreme Court to even discuss this case were the cases of few people who had some problems in light of their choice of homosexuality and them being deprived of some of the benefits that come with the marriage. Some rights and benefits that come only in a recognized marriage. And until yesterday, the only recognized form of marriage throughout all 50 states was a marriage between a man and a woman, not a marriage between two men or two women. And if people change the definition, it doesn't change the reality. The reality stays the same. So, their problems were brought to the Supreme Court of the United States that compelled the judges in the Supreme Court to take up this case. And instead of working on their problems and addressing the concerns, the Supreme Court started working on something entirely different. They started focusing on an issue that is more popular in the media at this time than anything else. What is most popular is same-sex marriage. Any channel you open, same-sex marriage. Any radio channel, same-sex marriage. Any newspaper, same-sex marriage. And the trend was already going in favor of that direction. That's why it happened. The opinion changed because the whole media was going in the same direction. And trying to pave the minds of people with the thinking that it should be legalized. And the unfortunate reality is that people don't even realize the unintended consequences. And I'm sure even the judges at the Supreme Court did not even care about the unintended consequences that will fall on ordinary people. If someone is in the business of renting houses or apartments, and two people come, homosexuals, and they say, we would like to rent this apartment. And when you find out that these two people are married, you say, no, my religion does not allow me to do that. And you want to deny that, they can take up that to the court and say, we were discriminated. People have unfairly started treating this issue as a civil rights issue, when it is not a civil rights issue. It is a matter of choice. You become homosexual by choice. Allah did not create you homosexual. If Allah created people homosexual, then Allah would not create men and women on earth. There are men and women, and men and women together make a pair. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. A lot of things go hand in hand in bringing a pair of man and woman together. The man finds comfort in woman, and woman finds comfort in man. Not the other way around. And one of the most consequential harms of same-sex marriage is that it is not in the best interest of children. Children will be deprived from either a mother or a father. And one of those two people will not be a biological, even if they do IVF or any other advanced methods of fertilization. One of those two will not be a biological relative of this child, if they have a child. It is an incident in the history where the men are trying to write the end of their own humanity. The only natural way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed in the system for reproduction and for human race to continue is with the combination of a man and a woman. There is no second way, there is no third way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made possible. And by doing so, it is writing the end with your own hands. The good news is that, as I said, there are less than 5% homosexuals in this country, which, if you look at the total population of 300 million, it is around 320 million. But if you look at 300 million, 5% is a very small minority. And unfortunately, they have gained a lot of strength in their voice through the media, through these organizations that support and advocate these ideas, that they have in very short time gained a lot of traction. But Allah is our witness that we do not approve this, and we continue to believe what we believed yesterday, that same-sex marriage should not be legal, and it is something that only Allah can do. Only Allah, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had revealed somewhere in some place that it is permissible or it is possible, then yes. But we remain strong and firm in our belief in what we have learned from our religion. And we do understand that there will be consequences to the children. Children will suffer the most. It is a very selfish behavior. And it is a very selfish lifestyle where the harm is caused to the children by such people without even them realizing and noticing that they are hurting children. And unintentionally, it becomes a norm in schools, in universities, and children from now on, unfortunately, will have to be introduced to something that they did not need to be. They will have to be told that, yes, this is something that exists and this is something that's legal. So my dear brothers and sisters, this is the month of Ramadan, the month of blessings, and this unfortunate thing has happened in the month of Ramadan. We ask Allah for help, we ask Allah for guidance, and we ask Allah for patience, and we ask Allah for endurance. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.